stay up night and sleep day.
That's right.
Anyway, I had sat with him all day, and I just sat by his in a chair by his cot in the this was VA hospital, and we just talked. And I had a pad with me, a pad and pencil, and every now and then when he'd say something significant, I would write it down. And so toward the evening, he sat up in bed. He'd been lying down on his pillow. He sat up in bed, and he just looked toward the end of the bed as if someone were standing at the end of the cot. It didn't make any sounds, but his mouth was moving and his facial expressions were moving just like he was talking to somebody. And he did that for quite a little bit, and then he just laid back down. And I said, Jack, who were you talking to? The Apostle Peter. No, he said, St. Peter. St. Peter. And I said, really? I said, what did he say? What did you say to him? What did he say to you? I asked him if Hodgkin's was going to get me. And he said, no, I have better things for you. Now at that time, he had been treated with Hodgkin's, and been getting these terrible treatments that made him sick every time he took one. And the VA hospital had diagnosed him as being Hodgkin's, and he died that night. They did an autopsy. They said there was no sign of Hodgkin's disease. So, who knows what he saw and who he talked to and what was said. You just don't know.
We know.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember coming to your house, and it was so weird. I knew he had died. Mother and Granny had told me it was the day before, and this was the next day. This would have been the 16th. And we were coming over to your house, and we were going to, see Granny and you, and everybody was going to be there. And it was so weird because I kept not really realizing it, but subconsciously I thought he was going to be there.
Right.
And he was going to be there.
Be there.
Even though it was
gathering.
weird, of course. Yeah. Why did I not? Of course, I knew he died consciously, but in the back of my mind, I still felt like he was going to be there. And when I walked into your house, that's when I really realized, that it really totally sinked into me that he had died, because I think I was still in a state of shock, because I had gotten a message from him that I already had known that he had died before Mother and Granny told me. But really? That was also subconscious. I kept asking everybody, and in the back of my mind, I was saying, we were staying at Granny and Granddaddy Cole's because they were working on our apartments. They hadn't finished them in time for us to go to school, and her house was closer to our new school because we were moving out of DeSoto up into Dallas. And I asked, Granddaddy was home. I asked him. Gigi was there. Uncle Tommy picked me up at school. I asked him. Everybody had a different thing. Because I was saying in my mind, if they say he's better, then I'm going to know that means that he has died and gone to heaven. And if they say he's worse, then I'm going to think, well, he hasn't. I'm wrong. That's not right. Because I was trying to verify if I was right, because I thought he had. And I thought it from the time I got out of school at 3:30, and that's what time he died. That's on his death certificate, too. I didn't even think about it until as soon as I got out of school. As soon as I got out of school, I immediately just strongly felt that he had died. And Granddaddy said he was the same. That was the last one I asked.
Said what?
He was the
He was the
same.
same.
So it didn't answer my question, but it made me quit questioning it.
Yeah.
You know, it made me stop thinking about it. It was a great answer.
Mhm.
And then and then I remember Mother and Granny walking in the door down that hall of Granny's house, and it was as if death, just black, was dripping. They were just, I mean, it was like a weird painting where the paint dripped down or something.
Yeah.
They just, you couldn't, they were like they were just dragging themselves in. It was just
I remember Mother's
horrible.
words in the car leaving the hospital after he had died. And Mother started crying and said, "What is the world going to be like without Jack?"
without Jack. Yeah. Mhm.
Those were her words.
She told me she was lying on his bed at our house that night when I got home. And, or no, maybe it was the next day. Anyway, right around there. I think it was that same day because that was when they had just given us some medication trying to get us to go to sleep. They didn't think we would sleep. And she was lying crying on his bed. She had her head in her hand and sitting on his hospital bed in the bedroom. And I said, "Granny, I know just how you feel."
Oh.
And she said, "You can't know how I feel."
Mm.
She said, "You know you're going to lose your kids, your parents.
Mm.
You're not supposed to lose your children." And I didn't really have a concept of that. That really kind of threw me back. It made me start thinking.
Not supposed to lose your daddy.
You're not supposed to lose your daddy either. That's right. Not when you're a little girl. Yeah. But she was in a pain that was just beyond. I never want to go there.
No.
I
Yeah,
never want to
no.
go there. I know
I
you've
never
had
thought
to.
I'd be
No.
there once.
I know you
and
had much less
Sure never
twice.
thought I'd be
Be
there,
there
twice.
twice.
I could not believe that you had to go through that.
Couldn't either. Still can't.
Yeah.
Because God knows you're strong.
Well, I wonder sometimes.